Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to D&J Drives. Today is Sunday, the 26th of January 2025, and it is 3:37 p.m. The temperature is currently 28 degrees Celsius, and it's a very hot day in Barbados, very nice and windy. We're starting today's drive at Edgerton Road in St. George. So far for the Exploring the Parishes of St. Michael series, we've done 2 drives so far. The first, where we entered St. Michael from the parish of Christchurch. The second, we entered from the parish of St. James. So St. James at the north and Christchurch at the south. And today we are entering St. Michael from St. George, which is from the east. So this is the third drive. And for those who don't know, St. Michael is located on the west side, the southwest side of Barbados, and it's the parish in which the capital city is located. So we're going to turn on to Highway 5, which is currently under construction, all in keeping with the massive road rehabilitation project that is taking place for more than a year now. It's being done bit by bit, and you can see there's equipment to the left here. So what they do is that they work at night and shut down during the day so as not to disrupt the flow of traffic. So from Edgerton Road on to Highway 5, and you can see there's a lot of dust and no end of complaints about the dust. So when the roads are bad, they complain about the roads, and then when the roads are being repaired and there's lots of dust, they complain about the dust. So I'm not really sure how you please people, but D&J Drive makes its way along Highway 5, and we would like to ask everyone to share these drives with their friends and family, especially those Barbadians who live overseas and may be missing home, or anyone planning to visit Barbados. And if you like the video, it will spread word, so to speak, of the video through your network just by liking it. And of course, if you subscribe, even better. So please subscribe to our channel, share the videos and like them. That would be doing us a great favor. So we are along Highway 5, and we are about to exit the parish of St. George and enter St. Michael. Officially in St. Michael. And we will begin exploring residential areas, commercial areas. So there are residential areas all to the left. Wheels on the Hill Tire Shop, big up to them. They did a really fantastic job the other day for a friend of mine in distress. This is a very long-standing residential area. You can see there are older and newer structures as we turn off Cutting Road. Approach Lower Burney. Very quiet today. Some people are cleaning their vehicles and just make a loop here through Lower Burney, long-standing residential area. As you can see, there are lots of vehicles. Some time ago there was talk that on average there are 2 vehicles per household in Barbados. I'm not certain if that is quite accurate, but that's what I remember hearing. So if you look across the road there, you'll see a lovely pink chattel house come permanent structure. Very nice, nicely laid out. And we are back on Highway 5. So we just turned through that area just to show you a bit of that residential area. Today will be all about St. Michael as we're doing the Exploring the Parish of St. Michael series. Turn right on to the other part of Cutting Road. As you can see, this road is under repair, so they're doing it in sections, and we're turning right at the constituency office for Santia Bradshaw, St. Michael's southeast. We will come back through here. This is just to take you a bit into this part of the area, just to show you the homes and to give you a feel for the area. A feel of the area, I should say. Light and Power is doing some work to the pole there, and we'll just turn back at this point. That continues into St. George. So we just want to stay within St. Michael today for the next few drives. a car would let us out. Okay, so we are just turning by Warren's Primary and Preschool, where they take students from 3 months to 11 plus. And here we see on the right the constituency office for St. Michael's Southeast. Santia Bradshaw, Deputy Prime Minister, as we make our way down Highway 5. And this section is under construction. Or I should say under reconstruction. Even though today is a Sunday, there's still quite a bit of traffic on the road, and of course it's being slowed down a lot because of this road work. So our first place of interest after going through Lower Burnie is Sky Mall. This is the entrance to Sky Mall. So we are just driving through into Sky Mall, and we'll just show you the car park facilities. So many years ago, this was essentially the largest supermarket in the region, so it was said. It was called Julian Supermarket. That's all of it there. And that supermarket failed, and I'm not sure who took it over or who owns this facility now, but it was converted to a mall, and it's known as Sky Mall. And this will just show you a panoramic view of it. Massey Stores supermarket is in there now, and all of this is the mall. That's Highway 5 out there. That's the ABC highway that you see those cars on, and all of this is the mall. Very dead today, everywhere is closed. Probably the Massey was opened earlier, and there is a nursery behind here, garden center. There's car washing that takes place. This is the back of it, and here comes the rain. So this is the back of the nursery here. All of this is Sky Mall. A big facility in the parish of St. Michael. and there's a back gate here that takes us to a back road that will help us to rejoin Highway 5, but that gate is closed today being Sunday. So we exit Sky Mall through the same point where we entered a short while ago. So there's a bank in here, there are mobile phone accessory stores, clothing stores, food court, and everything inside of this large mall, Sky Mall. And that's feature number 1, or place of interest number 1. So you can exit where that car is going. There's a drive-through here, Burger King. Where that red vehicle is coming from, that's where the gate was closed. You would have come through there. And we rejoin Highway 5. Thank you. Very courteous driver. We rejoin Highway 5 and make our way to the JTC Ramsey Circle, aka Bussa Roundabout. JTC Ramsey Roundabout. See it, JTC Ramsey Roundabout, off Highway 5, and then we continue. You can see there's a facility here, 1 Higate Hall. The name of this road is 2 Mile Hill in St. Michael, which leads into Government Hill. And second place of interest is the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, which is now home to the Ross University School of Medicine. So they have leased the facility for the most part. There you see Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, one of the Prime Ministers of Barbados. Previously known as Erskine Sandiford, but upon being knighted, he was known as Sir Lloyd. Sir Lloyd Erskine Sandiford. He was recognized for his greatness long after he left the office of Prime Minister. There's a bit of history, Caribbean history there, because the former Prime Minister, then leader of the opposition, Owen Arthur, he led a no-confidence campaign against him, which succeeded because some of the members of the Sandiford administration, this is the entrance, voted in favor of the no-confidence motion, and therefore the members of Parliament declared a vote of no confidence. So the story goes that Erskine Sandiford, he called an election in 1991, or was it 1994? I have to double check that. I think it was 1991. And yes, 1991, and he lost that election, and that's how Owen Arthur became the Prime Minister of Barbados. This is the back of the facility here. So all of this is the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, LESC. And this gate here takes you to the backyard of the Prime Minister's official residence. So here you can see there's parking all the way to the back there. That's the fence to Ilaro Court, the official residence of the Prime Minister of Barbados, all along this wall. So when there are functions at Ilaro Court, ILARO, that's the back gate. Essentially, that's the Prime Minister's back gate. When there are functions, there's parking all out here. And sometimes you can enter through this gate, and then this is where everything is closed off. This tent here is where they usually do scanning and collection of tickets. This is officially the back gate, because beyond here you are actually at the official residence of the Prime Minister. In fact, if you were to look just beyond those trees where there's a white flag, you can see the house. Notice how well fortified it is. And then all of this parking. So we are fortunate in that this gate is open today for whatever reason. And we were able to take you right in to the Prime Minister's section. So the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Center, there's a famous photograph of Sir Lloyd himself sitting just there by that sign there. And he was able to be honored in his lifetime. So he was a very unpopular Prime Minister at the time. He was responsible for cutting salaries by 8%. We just turn off into Embassy Gardens, just off 2 Mile Hill. You can see some lovely homes in here. And look at that view right across to St. George. I'm not sure why this area is known as Embassy Gardens, but you can see there are some really nice homes in here. So Sir Lloyd, then Prime Minister of Barbados, apparently had to make a choice between saving the dollar, which is pegged against the US, so as opposed to devaluing it, made some very tough decisions and austerity measures they're called, and he lost the election. But in later years, he was credited as being the Prime Minister who saved Barbados' dollar. We are going to do something very brave here. This is the entrance to Ilaro Court. Of course, we don't want the police questioning us, so we just turn there just to show you. Then there's a quick right turn here just across from Ilaro Court, which takes you to the back of the Barbados Community College. there to the Barbados Community College. This wall here is just behind the community college. See the homes here. Everybody's doors are open. Sunday evening rest, Sunday afternoon. So we're driving all along the perimeter of the Barbados Community College on Morningside Road. This is the side of it. And then we come to a little cul-de-sac. You can see the back of the college there. And some properties under construction here. Gentleman seems to be delivering some sort of newspaper or magazine, but it's a bit late in the day to be delivering newspapers. So making our way back out of Morningside Road, and all of these homes situated behind the Barbados Community College, just across from the Prime Minister's official residence. There's a little neighborhood just off this road. And this is the other side. So some apartments down there. look right across to the Pine, if you look beyond there, you'll see a housing development. That's the Pine. So if we come out here, you can see the front gate of the Prime Minister's residence, Ilaro Court. That's as much as we can do to show you the entrance. Back on 2 Mile Hill, that was the right turn to the back of Barbados Community College. Still on 2 Mile Hill. There's a left turn here. Off 2 Mile Hill that takes you behind the Prime Minister's residence, but you can see you have a panoramic view here of the Pine. So if you see those green buildings, that is the Barbados Licensing Authority. All across there is the Pine. We've done a drive through the Pine already when we compared the Pine to Fort George Heights, two different types of residential areas in Barbados, both in St. Michael, but we've had requests from a few of our viewers asking us to go through the Pine, but we've already done the Pine, so we'll just touch it on this occasion. You can look at that drive and see all through the Pine and Fort George Heights, some of Fort George Heights. So to the left is the back of the Prime Minister's official residence, Prime Minister of Barbados. Behind here is St. Barnabas Heights, a relatively quiet area that was recently struck by an unfortunate murder. Just let that truck pass. So when they interviewed one of the residents, he said, you know, this is a very quiet area. We're not accustomed to this. And it was very unfortunate. So this is just behind the Prime Minister's official residence. Those big trees there are part of the grounds of Ilaro Court. And all of these people live behind that beautiful structure. We will try here to capture a piece of it. So we just borrow this driveway here to reverse, and there you can see the back of the Ilaro Court from this neighborhood. That's one side. And again, this side. So this is really the back of it, but at least you have an idea of the splendor of that building. So you can see there are some tractors behind here. This area is just sort of used for equipment and farming. But this is the back of Ilaro Court. Most people don't come behind here other than the farmers. And that building was built, I think, in the early 1900s, but it was purchased in the 1980s by the government to become the official residence of the Prime Minister. And the first Prime Minister who lived there was Tom Adams. Prior to that, these are the houses right behind Ilaro Court. Prior to that, the Prime Minister's official residence was on Culloden Road, which is also in St. Michael. So that first Prime Minister, Errol Barrow, he lived in Culloden Road, followed by Prime Minister Tom Adams, after the property was purchased and renovated to become the official residence of the Prime Minister, and every subsequent Prime Minister lived in that residence, Ilaro Court. So back onto 2 Mile Hill. Right turn off 2 Mile Hill onto Howells Road to show you the entrance of the Barbados Community College. Most times the gate is closed and you have to go through security to drive in. This is the entrance. The gate is open. Won't be driving through. So that's the entrance. This is the exit. That's the Barbados Community College. And again, Erskine Sandiford is attributed as having formed this facility, this higher level, tertiary level institution. Apparently he was a minister of education under the Barrow government, and not quite certain of the history. But he is given credit as having started that college, which, as I said, is a tertiary level institution. At this point, 2 Mile Hill becomes Government Road. We've done a drive along here. In fact, one of our earlier drives when we covered the Springer Memorial School, but just to take you down to Government Hill. So connecting the Prime Minister's residence with the President's residence, which is known as State House. That's what we're doing right now. So Erskine Sandiford's name, or Sir Lloyd Erskine Sandiford's name, is very prominent in Barbados. And the Barbados Community College is very proud of its association with him. And from my observation, he became a more popular prime minister after his time in office, when people realized what he did for the economy. This is a side entrance here to State House, where guests enter during certain events, such as various independence events. So we've just come down Government Hill and we've made this left. Just at the Meter Barrow roundabout, and here we see the entrance of State House, a very illustrious property, home to the President of Barbados. There's no way we can enter that, but this is Pine Hill. If you came here, you have an idea of its splendor. And we just drove past Newlands, which is the home of the governor of the central bank, and St. Winifred's Primary School on the left. So the governor of the central bank's home is across from State House. It's known as the governor's mansion, governor of the central bank, Newlands. And then there are a few embassies and high commissions in this area. So we reached the end of Pine Hill. To join Pine Plantation Road. This is where that gentleman used to sell nuts. Very well-known gentleman who used to sell nuts. Unfortunately, he was gunned down a few years ago, right on that spot where he plied his trade. Pine Plantation Road, and it takes us to a left to the Pine East-West Boulevard, which I gather is being renamed. I'm not sure what the new name is. And then if we were to turn right, we go into Pine Gardens. So Pine Gardens is a very upscale area, and then the Pine itself is a lower income area, and then Pine Hill, stretching from the president's house, is a very upscale area, even more upscale than Pine Gardens, and Pine Gardens actually exits onto Pine Hill. So we're just waiting for that vehicle to move, and we'll just pause for the red light. So we make this left from Pine Plantation Road onto Pine East-West Boulevard, but the name was removed. It's being renamed, and veterinary services on the left. To the Pine. So this is sort of a repeat, because as I said, we already did a drive-through here, but this is being done specifically for someone or someones who asked us to cover the Pine. This is the Pine. Right now the Pine is getting a lot of coverage in the media because of various criminal activity. But if you look around, you can see people moving around quite peacefully and comfortably. Look at the gentleman sitting there under the tree. Sometimes we like to stigmatize areas because of isolated events. D&J Drives does not subscribe to such behavior. We visit every community and any community fearlessly. If we didn't do this, many people wouldn't realize how peaceful this area is and can be. So we exit onto Cullimer Rock, just by where the KFC is on, I'm not sure if this is lower or upper Cullimer Rock. We just came through the pine, just on the outskirts of it, but we'll get back. But we are on Cullimer Rock. And we will enter Highgate Park, which is one of the upscale residential areas of St. Michael. This is one of the older residential areas, technically gated but without a gate. You can see all of the high walls and gates, electric gates, and all of these high walls. This is an older upscale residential area, sort of cut off from the rest of society. All of the high gates, high walls, very well appointed homes, as you can see. Lovely homes in here. Everything is well painted and clean. Nice home down in there. We love to admire beautiful properties, but you have to be so careful these days when you enter neighborhoods like this, because crime is on the rise, so everybody is suspicious, so you have to move swiftly. Look at that lovely home across there, very large. It's quite deep in here. This is a highly desirable area, so the property values are very high in here. And as you can see, there are no empty lots. This area is fully developed. One property is there for sale. This is Highgate Gardens. This gate is opening. Someone is coming. And just a stone's throw away from the pine. In fact, you can see the pine from this location, and you can see the big difference in the two areas. That was Highgate Gardens, and just across the road is a big playing field. CIBC Sports and Fitness Center. So this is another residential area across here. Barclays Terrace. Of course, Barclays is associated with CIBC because, long story, Barclays Bank and CIBC merged many years ago to become First Caribbean International Bank. This area here was a very upscale residential area. It's still residential, but maybe not as upscale as back in the day. But many of the people who live here have lived here for many years. So CIBC and Barclays merged to become First Caribbean International Bank, jointly owned by CIBC and Barclays, until many years later when Barclays sold its stake in First Caribbean back to CIBC, and then CIBC rebranded First Caribbean CIBC First Caribbean, and then eventually dropped the First Caribbean altogether, and it's just known as CIBC. It says members, private club members and guests only, so we won't enter, but they do football training here. So that's CIBC. You can see this old house here. That's us facing Highgate Gardens, and we made the point in previous drives that in Barbados, when an area is known as something terrace, gardens, heights, court, or even drive, but not so much drive, it's indicative of middle to high income housing. So sometimes you would hear people talk about the people who live in the heights and the terraces. We're turning off Wildy Main Road into Flagstaff, which is another area of interest, Flagstaff Road. And this road takes one back into Christchurch, so we're not going all the way down, but this is a very well used road. Flagstaff. There's Eiffel Road. Look at this house to the right, very quaint. Streets Road. Somewhere behind here is known as Clapham, but I'm never certain quite where Clapham ends and begins, but there's a nice residential area behind here, and this is sort of borderline Christchurch, because to the right of us, when you get into Club Morgan and those areas, you're getting into Christchurch. There are lots of residential areas. In St. Michael, we can't possibly cover all of them, but so far the strategy has been to enter the parish in question, this being St. Michael, from other parishes, and then try to touch the residential areas just at the borders. And because we've done so many drives in St. Michael, we don't need to cover certain areas because you can find them on several of our other drives. Mr. Turn. Willie Allen Associates Photography Limited to the right. This was Eiffel Road where we could have turned earlier. Just turning in here to show you some of the properties this Sunday afternoon. Off Streets Road, back onto Flagstaff Road. This is the said Eiffel Road here on the right. Which brings us back onto Highway 6, and you can see this new mall with that W. Not certain whether this is called Wildy Mall or whatever it is, but this is where the Banks Brewery used to be. This is what it's now, a whole big mall. And then we turn off Wildy Main Road, aka Highway 6, and go on to Wildy Road. And there are lots of industrial properties here. First turn off. Second turn off. Bikers there. This is the sanitation authority on the left. We have a viewer who is very proud of working there and has asked us to capture garbage trucks when we do drives in Trinidad. He works there. We're going to turn into another residential area here. Terrace Road, but this is in Wildy itself. Higate Gardens, I believe this is called. This is an older residential area. 3rd Avenue East, Terrace Road. Avenue, Terrace Road. Get an idea what in here looks like. Wotton Gardens. houses, or rather remodeled houses and apartments. Wildy Gardens. And suddenly you can see some change in terms of the size of these properties. Developed area also. It's been around for a long time. So Wildy Garden, and we leave here join Wildy Road. So this road takes us back to the highway, ABC Highway, the Barrow section. But before we get there, you can see the highway ahead. We make a left into Parkinson Field. So Parkinson Field is yet another older residential area, more or less lower income housing. And some of the properties have been updated. This is the Parkinson Field Business Center, where you can get snacks and so on. And some of these are government built housing solutions, townhouses. Just gone through Parkinson Field here. You can see the highway from here. Parkinson Field. Again, this area recently in the news due to criminal activity again. There was a murder somewhere out in here, and as you can see, though stigmatized, everybody is outside playing peacefully and riding and doing what they have to do. And a few isolated incidents do not define an area. So while crime is on the rise in Barbados, we must not be afraid. We must be very careful, but enjoy the space. We cannot allow criminals to take away the comfort of living in an area. Back onto the Errol Highway. Parkinson Memorial School is to our left, St. Barnabas right ahead, and we make a left turn back onto Pine East-West Boulevard as we know it. Just take a turn here. So we'll just nip in. This is unexpected. This gate is usually closed. We are very happy. And we are showing you the Parkinson School. Wow, this was unexpected. We just turned in to show you the entrance and are fortunate to be able to show you inside of the school. This extension of Parkinson Secondary School was officially opened by the Honourable Billy Miller MP, Minister of Education, and the Honourable Delisle Bradshaw, Member of Parliament, on the 2nd of February 1983. That's what it looks like. The Junita L. Hunt Administrative Block, dedicated to the memory of Julita L. Hunt. Well, this was an unexpected treat for us. This gate was opened. We always try to drive through the schools as long as the gates are opened. Now we can see some activity here. This is the back, I think. Not certain if that's connected to the school or if that was the Pinelands Club, it says. So we just left Parkinson Field and then we stumbled on the Parkinson Secondary School, and this is their hall with that door open. And we mentioned Delisle Bradshaw a short while ago, and we should mention that he's the father of Cynthia Bradshaw, whose constituency office we passed. She's the Deputy Prime Minister of Barbados, and this is also her constituency. This building here is some division of the University of the West Indies, extra mural center for the University of the West Indies. So if we look across there, we can see a housing area, and we are back on Pine East-West Boulevard, passing the Barbados Licensing Authority on our right. We are at the Pine St. Michael. This angle, you can see the back of Ilaro Court to our right. Of course, the camera can't pick it up. And all of this to our left is the Pine. So a short while ago, we entered and exited here, and we explained that we would return, and here we are again for the second time entering the Pine, but instead of just going right through, we will make a few turns into the Pine itself. These turnoffs are named Bankside and very densely populated and a hilly area. This is an area where they bring learners, new drivers, so that they can navigate the hills, learn how to double clutch and so on. Apparently the police set up shop somewhere out here because of the various disturbances. Oh, there it is. You can see the police outstation there, or whatever you call it. Barbados Police Force. They have a little section there, and they've been patrolling the area. So these are some of the residential areas of St. Michael, and we'll end today's drive right here in the Pine, St. Michael. Everybody is outside doing their thing, cleaning up. Everybody is living peacefully. This is Valley View. Look at the name of this shop, Mom's Cozy Corner. You can see how steep it is in here in the Pine St. Michael. There you can see just what I just said. There's a learner there. They bring them up here because it's very steep and they learn how to reverse uphill and utilize the clutch. We see a learner right here. So we end today's drive looking across at Ilaro Court to the right. The extreme right of this camera. And we thank you for spending this hour and 23 minutes with us. This is DNJ Drives, reminding you to please subscribe to the channel and share our videos with anyone you know who may be interested in visiting Barbados and learning more about the road network. Subscribe, like the video so that it can spread throughout your network, and share for those who are interested. It's 5:03 p.m. DNJ Drives signing off on Sunday the 26th of January 2025 at 5:04 p.m. Until next time.